Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for live, full-time reaction to Hamilton 0, Celtic 3. I'm joined today by Declan and Scott to go through the game. Get your questions in the live chat box below. We'll try and pick out some good ones as we go through. Declan, a very comfortable win in the end today. How would you sum it up?
It was a wee bit more like an old cell. Good first 20 minutes in the first half. Went a wee bit quiet, and then after the second half we came out and we took the chances that we were creating in the first half and put the game to bed. Effectively, when we get the second goal, I think that was it. I mean, Hamilton never really laid a glove on us. Didn't really look like scoring. Similar to the game the other night. So it's another 3 points, and it's on to Dundee United.
Yep. Scott, would you make it?
I started quite well. I thought that the save that the keeper made for that Griffiths chance was unbelievable. Like, I cannot, but the ball was behind the keeper. Really, really good save. And then Griffiths got that header that hits the post in 19 minutes. Felt that the first half we were getting a good bit of space and time on the right hand side. Frimpong was getting the opportunity to put some decent balls in. It's something that we've seen all season. Ryan Christie hitting dead balls. Shocking me. Terrible for dead balls. I don't know why he's still hitting dead balls. He's a brilliant football player, but that is not his strength. And he's not improved. I don't know why he's still the guy. Is that something you've noticed, or am I just sitting here?
No, I think everybody's noticed it this season.
No, everybody's noticed it. Especially when you've got David Turnbull in the pitch. I don't get why Ryan Christie's still taking set pieces. I know he's at times he's maybe delivered a few decent balls out of the box. His cross the other night for Griffiths' header was decent, but dead balls, I don't get it. Why he's still taking them as well beyond me. And when Lee Griffiths is in the park, we know how good he is with a dead ball.
We've got Griffiths, we've got Turnbull. Obviously, you want Griffiths in the box because he's a striker. So I understand why maybe you want him in the box, but Turnbull's there. I mean, come on. It's glaringly obvious to everybody. Apart from that, still poor at throw-ins. Again, that's another thing that I think we've highlighted before. We can't find a man for throw-ins. That should be quite an easy thing to just set up some sort of process to make someone available. And it's just not really,
a lack of movement,
getting any better.
Seems like a lack of movement at time through throws, but
aye. Apart from that, 35 minutes on, we lost a bit of intensity. We stopped getting into the corners of the pitch, and we were going a bit more central, a bit more direct, which usually works for us. See, in general though, like, I know that Edouard missed quite a lot of chances today, but he was miles better than he's been recently. Even though he's not been deadly in front of goal, he's been miles better in terms of making himself available for receiving the ball. And the layoff to Griff for the goal, superb. I'm sure we'll come on to that, but guy was different class today.
Aye, Edouard was much better today. What about Snooze Hiddink on the touchline again? But every time the camera goes to him,
that's a skill, by the way. Snooze up with the gloves on, brilliant.
By the way, if you've never tried that stuff, don't. It is absolutely lethal.
Stuff.
I don't know how he takes it, by the way.
He's never off it. He's never off it. I keep thinking the camera must just go to him every time he does it. But I think the camera just goes to him any time, and it just so happens that he's never off it.
It's strong stuff, by the way.
It's very strong. I think I wouldn't be touching it anyway, but maybe watching some of your play this season, maybe it's just the players that's getting through it, you know. And I don't think so.
Hand out to the players.
Declan, we had so many chances in that first half, as Scott said. Going in at half time, I think Edouard had a couple where he shows great feet and just didn't even finish at the end. There was that one where I think it's either Christie or Taylor's smashed it across the face of goal, and Edouard actually got a side foot on it, and it just went straight to the keeper. And going in 0-0, even though we'd created a lot of chances, you just don't want the game to drift on too long at 0-0, because we've saw a few times this season that can lead to some drop points if it goes on too long.
I think there's always a worry in the back of your head this season, especially that even 2-0 up, we're not safe, as we saw last week in the cup final. But we kicked on in that second half. It was frustrating the first half because we were again creating good chances, and as you say, just not tucking the chances away. But again, come out after the half time and we get that penalty. People maybe say that that was what settled us, but it was nothing that we didn't deserve. I don't think in the game, even when we were 2-0, it wasn't flattering us. We deserved to be in front in the game, and it could have been a lot more today. The conditions didn't look great, but as Scott said there, and I know we're going to touch on it, I thought Edward was really, really decent today in terms of what he's been like the past few weeks, and we saw flashes of what he can do. You know, the old repertoire was out with some of the feet, and took his penalty lovely and probably deserved a goal for the header that Turnbull gets.
Yeah. I want to talk about the formation today. We went to the Diamond again. Paul McLean's asking, do we reckon the Diamond will work at Ibrox? Scott, I don't know. I mean, I think it's far too narrow. I think that formation's far too narrow to play at Ibrox. So we've only got one game left now. We talked during the week about how we're kind of still chopping and changing systems and formations and stuff at this stage of the season. But even though it's looked slightly better, you could say in the last two games, I don't think we're going to play the Diamond at Ibrox, do you?
Well, it's hard to say, mate, because if you just go man for man, that's probably the best chance we've got. I'm just trying to match it up because tactically we've been outplayed. We've been outplayed tactically. I don't think that formation is the formation that's going to cause them problems. So probably not. What is the actual answer? I don't know. I mean, if I knew, I'd be in the job. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't know if it's. I still think we can get a result. I don't think the formation is our main problem, as we say. Like some of the trends that we saw throughout the year, they're not really formation based. They're more just confidence based. And I felt that today was one of the games where we really wanted to go and get 3, 4. We really wanted to get 4 or 5 goals a day. And I wanted to see Edouard scoring full open play. That one he had in the first half, that was just an open goal. The keeper couldn't believe his luck. But coming back to next week, like, I think you've got to stick to whatever's working. I don't think you want to change it again. I don't think we want to go into the Dundee United game and try another formation that might work against Rangers. I think, see if this is getting us results, it's getting us clean sheets, just play it. Whether it's the right answer against Rangers, I think we've just got to have a level of consistency, and hopefully it carries us through.
Mm-hmm. Declan, one of the things we are obviously seeing with this formation is the partnership of Lee Griffiths and Austin Edward again. Brilliant, I thought, today. A lot more like their old partnership for the back end of last season that we've can't stop talking about. Sorry, linking up a few times in the first half. Edwards obviously put the penalty away, but then you see it for the second goal, which I thought was brilliant. Just a wee sort of a back heel for Edward, just straight into Griffiths' path, and he smashed it in.
It was a terrific goal. I mean, it's, you know, really good link-up play, which comes with two players knowing each other's game. You know, it's we lay off for Edward, have a bit of that, and Griffiths sticks it away really well. Getting into the game probably in March there, at the turn of the year, at the start of this year, we all wanted 2 strikers to go up top at Ibrox, and obviously we didn't get to that game. So getting into the game next week, it might be something we want to look at again, but in midfield, how we match is going to probably be the problem we're going to look at. And again, looking at what St Mirren did to Rangers in terms of going at the fullbacks, targeting Tavernier and Barisic, we know that is probably where the creativity comes from in that Rangers side. It's something that we probably will need to look at exploiting, and playing the Diamond kind of 4-4-2. To me, just doesn't have enough width to do that, and it doesn't have enough width to get in behind the fullbacks and stop that off. And in midfield, you know, as well, we could be a bit light in there in terms of if we go with this kind of 4-4-2. I wouldn't be surprised to see Scott Brown come back in as well next week. So I think there's going to be a lot of questions probably and thoughts in Neil's mind getting into the game next week at Ibrox, because I just don't see he's going to be that 4-4-2 Diamond. But again, no, we probably would like to play the 2 strikers up top. So there's going to need to be a balance here.
Mm-hmm. Scott Edward involved in the third goal again. You've both mentioned it already. I thought he was much more like himself today. Dribbling ability, fantastic. Just going by players as if they're not there. And obviously hits the post with a header. Turnbull's there to knock it in. But he just looked a lot more like the player that we know he can be today.
He looked so much better. A lot more relaxed. And don't get me wrong, like, I know that park isn't a good park to play on. It's no grass. But if you look at how Ibrox is looking right now, how the grass at Celtic Park's looking right now, that's maybe not a bad part to be playing on, because see, when it's wet, it's very, very quick, and surely that should play into our hands, even though it's not maybe the most enjoyable to play on. Like, he likes it because it's, you know, you're going to get the same bounce no matter where it is in the park. I think he enjoyed it, and just when he gets the ball in the box, nobody could get it off him. He's got 4, 5, 6 players on him sometimes, and he's just keeping the ball. He's just lacking that killer instinct to put it in the top left-hand corner, that one that he had just slightly to the left of the box first half. He should put it top left-hand corner of the goalkeeper, and usually he would. But I think that's a confidence thing. He scored another penalty there, which is brilliant. And he's laid off Griffiths. I'm sure that's going to help his confidence, but I think, is it Ailey Barber that was saying that he's not scored in the league in open play since the first game of the season when he got a hat-trick? That's got to be playing on his mind at some point. Do you know what I mean? But it's a matter of time because he looks like his old self.
I thought he was much better today, Declan. Terrible conditions, but the weather as well. We were just saying it before we came on here. Imagine if you were in the shed at Hamilton today, you'd have been absolutely freezing. You'd have been like Chris Boyd on the coverage. You see him?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really feel sorry for Chris in the coverage, feeling a wee bit chilly. But no, I think probably there's a good few days today, me and yourself included, feeling a bit rough from yesterday. And I don't think a wee trip through to Aki's would have been the curer. But I think we'd all left quite happy with the 3 points anyway. So you can really ask for it at this point of the season. You know, as you say there and touched on, tough conditions. The pitch maybe helped us a bit. Again, you're kind of worrying getting into that game, not taking the risk with Julian on that surface that you could maybe pick up an injury today. So it's good to get the 3 points and walk away there from the AstroTurf without any new injuries and some good minutes for Lee Griffiths as well.
Great to see Griffiths starting scoring again. That all the minutes are just going to help him and get him back to the sort of sharpness that everybody wants him to be at. Scott, talking about injuries, Julian missed out today. Neil Lennon said before the game, I think he's got a knee issue, and he's still obviously nursing his back problem. So they didn't want to play him on the plastic pitch. But as I say, it's Dundee United during the week before we go to Ibrox. So I mean, how much a concern, Jenk, that would be if Julian is like nursing knocks in terms of making that game, because we've gone into a couple of these derbies recently for all we've been so poor, missing some big players. So I don't think that'd be a good thing if Julian ends up missing out.
I don't think it's a massive concern because I think he played really well last week. I didn't really see him pick anything up last week, did you? No. To be honest, it's probably a precaution. Remember the same way we used to do with Simunovic, he didn't really cope with the plastic parts that well. And if that's a back injury, I don't think it's probably much to do with the knee. Again, he's probably just wrapping him in cotton wool, to be honest with you. I'm not massively concerned. What have we got, another week? Shouldn't really be a big problem.
Hopefully. Declan 2-2 for Turnbull as well. As I say, a tap in today, but again, involved all the time. He's got to be one of the first names in the team sheet right now.
Well, definitely. You know, I mean, he brings so much to our team. It's not just what we were talking about earlier in terms of his dead balls. You know, he's constantly on the move, constantly looking for a Celtic jersey. And he's infectious. I think his energy in our team, it just seems to give the whole team a lift. And we've saw the difference with him and Sorrell coming into the side. I think the two have been excellent since being included. And again, though, today the two of them really showed what we've been missing in there, just that wee bit of drive and energy and a bit of force. And he deserved his goal, you know, because he's always given us like a solid kind of 7 or 8 out of 10 performance. And if a player's doing that for you all the time, you know, he deserves to be in your team, and he should definitely start at Ibrox as he did in the cup final because he was deserved.
Aye, 100%. Scott, we've seen a lot of subs today. I'm not sure. I've kind of backed the 5 subs thing before, but I just thought today it was one of the games where we end up making so many subs, and by the end there's no tempo left in it. It'd be nice to go and maybe try and get 4 or 5, and we could have had that with the chances that we had today, but I just thought so many subs at the end, it just becomes like a friendly, doesn't it?
Aye, it did. They never really threatened Hamilton, but I think I don't mind that because what's been lacking a bit this season is some game management. And today we didn't lack that. I think we managed the game properly, even though they were never a threat. At the cup final, did Hearts look a threat in the first half? No, and we didn't manage the game, and it totally changed it. So I think that was a good sign to see that I don't think it was really the subs that managed the game. I think the team just generally managed the game by limiting Hamilton to nothing. But I don't mind it at all. The whole 5 subs thing, I like it. I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's probably beneficial to the bigger teams who've got bigger squads. I understand that. And I mean, we're biased. I'm a bit of a fan of it. What I wanted to talk to you about was Laxalt. Like, what is your opinion on both of you, Declan, Paul, Laxalt compared to Greg Taylor, like, I haven't seen Laxalt making any glaring, obvious mistakes, but he has been in the team when we've lost a lot of points in a lot of big games. I don't think it's down to him. I think he's probably one of the best 1v1 tacklers that I've seen Celtic's defence in a long time. Attacking wise, I think he maybe wastes a lot of balls. We try to play the ball in a bit too early. But who would you pick going forward?
I don't know, mate. I said past 2 games, a toss a coin for me. I mean, I know Greg Taylor hasn't blown everybody away, hasn't blown MD away, let's be honest. But he's maybe safer in that he's less cavalier than Laxalt. We talked about this for the game during the week, I think, actually. Laxalt came in. And what he does a lot, like you're saying, with the tackling, against Lille, when he made all these so many successful standing tackles, it was unreal. And it looked brilliant. And I think a couple of times, even against St. John, not St. Johnstone, the game during the week, sorry, he was trying to nip in and steal the ball. And it just looks, when it doesn't come off, you look silly because you've just dived in and missed out on the ball. So I think when he's been in the team, we've lost so many goals. Obviously, the defensive organisation of the team has been a problem for most of the season. So it's not solely on him, of course, but I don't know. I think I'm torn. I can't really pick. As I say, it wouldn't surprise me again when we go to Ibrox. I would maybe expect him to go with Laxalt, but toss a coin for me.
I think shape-wise is a wee bit dependent. I always said kind of we were leaking all those goals in a forward. Greg Taylor was probably the best bet because he's a natural defender, and at Kelly, that was his game, was just to defend. So that's what you get with Greg Taylor. Whereas we know Diego's a good player. You don't play for the Uruguay international side and get a move to Milan if you're a bad player. So there's a player in there, maybe better as a wing back than he is just as a left back, because I think he can be a bit erratic when he goes forward and then gets caught out. But the two decent players, but not one of the two of them, as Paul says, flip of the coin for me as well. Down to shape, I think if you go with a forward at this point in time, I'd probably go with Taylor. If you're looking for the wing back to bomb on, you're probably going to go with Laxalt. So I don't really know.
It's a tough one. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the week as well. As I say, one more game, Dundee United at home before the derby. So interesting to see, because it's been Laxalt during the week, back to Taylor today. It was Taylor in the cup final as well. So it does seem to be chopping and changing. Big shout out to Short91 for the super chat in the comments. The last one on today, boys. Who's your man of the match, Scott?
Edward, I think Turnbull played really well. I'm so impressed with how many goals he's scoring for us, but I think you've got to go to Edward. Just brilliant to watch. Link-up play was excellent, and again, that's why he's on the park, even though he's not been scoring a lot of goals, because you know that he can do stuff off the ball. No-brainer. Yeah,
Declan.
I'd agree with that. I think his layoff for the Griffiths goal and his penalty was cool as you like, and as Scott said, it was a wee bit a return to form, good to watch, and as much as I thought Turnbull had a good game, he got one in the week, so we don't want him getting too greedy, so I'd give it a French Eddie.
Clean sweep for Edward. I thought he was brilliant today. Much more like his old self. I thought he was the best player in the park by a million miles. That's it for tonight. Like the video, comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you shortly for Twitter reactions. Cheers.